Hello, my name is Sophie and welcome back to my channel. We're in a slightly different location today because today I'm going to talk you through my setup for my 2025 reading journal. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've spent hours setting this thing up. I don't mean it to sound like I'm complaining about how long it took because I enjoyed every single minute. Designing my journals is like therapy for me. It's a really therapeutic task and I really enjoy it. So the hours that I've spent designing this journal have been very, very enjoyable, and I do it from my desk downstairs, and I thought it'd be nice to show the tree in the background, and the rest of the background isn't too messy for once, so we make the most of it. I've not exactly figured out the best setup for this because I don't have one of those tripods that can like look flat over a table, so I'm just going to talk through it. Here is my 2025 book journal. We'll compare from the 2024 journal as well. So opening up to the first page, which most people wouldn't even think about looking at, but I've tried to kind of make it look like I have my own custom end papers. I essentially used some tissue paper for the front edges, but at the back I've had all these little scraps of paper that I ripped up for a different project a few months ago. So I've laid that down as a kind of scrapbooky background, and then I had this paper bag from a trip to Scarthin Books I took earlier this year, and I thought it was too nice to get rid of, so I've cut up the bag and put it on the back at the end papers, and I'm really, really pleased with it. I love how this looks. But back to the front. After my makeshift end papers, we have my title page. I love how this page on the right looks. I think it looks absolutely stunning, but also I just thought it would be fun to have some stickers on the left-hand page, and I think they kind of fit the aesthetic. The aesthetic I'm going for, because what I did with my last journal is that I had every page be a different colour theme, and it looks nice and cohesive on each page, but the whole journal's not very cohesive. So I've stuck with a kind of green and orange, earth-toned, cottagecore, mushroomy, froggy kind of theme. So we have a lot of greens, particularly on this page, and I love this mushroom craft paper that I've used in the background here, and then these stickers are just ones, I think I bought them both from Comic-Con actually, and yeah, love them, absolutely obsessed. And in comparison to my old journal, yeah, I mean I wouldn't say I prefer one over the other. They're both nice for how I felt at the time. So then onto the first page we have my rating system and my reading goals. I have reintroduced doing 0.5 ratings because I try to keep everything as simple as possible because I get overwhelmed when I have too many options when rating a book. So I tried to keep it between the 1 and 5 star ratings, but then I found that I was having so many books that weren't a 3 star but weren't good enough to be a 4 star. So I wanted to reintroduce the 0.5s. So I've got a little key for my 1 to 5 star ratings, but also an additional key for my 0.5 star ratings, which I'm actually really pleased with. And then on this right hand page we have my reading goals, which I spoke about in a video earlier this month. These pages are very self-explanatory. I honestly think the key to journaling, if you're not particularly artistic like I'm not, is having stickers, washi tape and coloured pens. If you've got those 3 things, oh, and maybe some stamps for lettering, but even then you can use stickers for lettering. If you have those 3 things, I genuinely think you can make a journal look beautiful, and I think it's the entire reason that my journal looks nice. So those are those pages. Over the next page we have my annual stats, which I will fill in each month. The things I've decided to track this year are the number of books I'm reading per month, the pages, the minutes, the physical books, the ebooks, the audiobooks, the library books, how many books from my TBR I've read, how many new books I've bought, my TBR total, the TBR difference, so if it's gone up by 1 or down by 1, it's kind of, I feel like it's easier to see more definitively the difference, and then the average rating for each month. I thought that would be a fun one to track. And then on the right hand side here at the top we have my start of 2025 TBR total, so I'm going to add up, well, I'm going to do a conclusive total because I think my current numbers are out of date, of how many books in this house I haven't read, and then obviously we can work on that throughout the year. And then I like having my past reading goals. Obviously I've not filled in my 2024 one yet because the year hasn't finished as I'm filming this, But yeah, and then my 2025 goal is 60 books, and I've put a little line for the date I achieved this goal, because with every other goal I've had, I've achieved it before the end of the year. So optimistically, I'm hoping that I will be able to fill that in before the end of the year, but then if I don't meet the goal, that's also fine. Then flipping over the page again, this is the space I have for my 25 books in 2025 TBR that I'm going to be working on. I've drawn all these outlines which I will stick little stickers of all the book covers of the books, of the 25 books that I'm going to try and read next year. Except the way that I do it is that I have a bunch of sticker paper and I have a template on Canva, and I basically fill in, or I drop all the covers into the template as and when I need stickers, but then I won't print it out until I've got a full page, because I don't want to print half a page of sticker paper, because that sticker paper is very important to me and I don't want to waste any of it. So I wait till I've got a full page, then I will print it out and stick everything in. I will fill in the stickers of the book covers when I've got a full page to print out. So these are blank for now, but it will look lovely once all the book covers are filled in. There we go. Then we have, I'm doing 2 alphabet challenges this year, because last year I thought actually it would be quite fun to do an alphabet challenge with authors' names. I'm going to go with authors' surnames, but these are challenges that I do very passively. They're more challenges just as a kind of seeing how much I can do whilst I'm not really paying attention. I don't actively try to complete the alphabet challenge. I just like being able to fill it in, and that's all I need. Then we have my monthly reading log. I found with this, oh, I should be comparing spreads. That's what I was going to do. I've also put the pages in a different order this year, which makes them harder to find in the old one. I found with my reading log from last year, I just didn't have enough space to write all the books I was reading each month, so I had to add this little piece of paper that I could put the extra books on. So what I've done this year is I've given the whole page, I've split each page into 3 months, but I've cut the top of this page off. So it's technically 2 double page spreads, but it still looks like one cohesive spread, and I'm really pleased with how that looks. And then I've got the little square in the bottom right corner of each box where I will write the total number of books I've read each month. Then on the next page we have my reading goal for the year. So my goal is 60, and I've drawn 60 squares which I will colour in with the rating of the book that I've read, and then again I've got a space for date finished. And then I have my books read per month bar chart, which is an idea I got from watching Rachel Catherine's video of her 2024 journal setup, I think. And when it's all filled in with how many books you read per month, it looks like a really nice bar graph. So I thought that would be nice, and I stole the idea. So I've added that in to my journal. Then on the next page I have a little page for the books that I borrowed from the library. I'm getting much better at using my library. My library doesn't have the biggest variety of books, but I found particularly with audiobooks for December it has more than I thought it did. So I'm trying to make more of a conscious effort to use my library, particularly for audiobooks. With ebooks in the UK, I know in the US with Libby you can send library books to your Kindle, but I don't think that's an option in the UK. If it was, I would use it, but I hate reading on my phone, so borrowing ebooks from my library is just reading on my phone, and I don't love it. And I have enough books on my physical DVR that I don't need to be borrowing physical books from the library. So I am almost exclusively using it for audiobooks. And then we have my genre tracker. This is a bit of a development from last year's genre tracker, because I just found, not that I ran out of room, but I almost had too much room, and then it looks a bit sparse. And there was some genres that I barely read. And then I ran out of room for my age bracket tracker at the bottom. So I've made that bigger. I've tried to make it look like each box has a little shadow. I don't think I've done it very well, but you know, I don't hate this layout. I think it looks a little bit nicer than last year's layout. Then on the next page we have my bookshelves for the year. So I will draw in all the books and the titles as I finish a book, and again colouring in the spines with the rating of the book. I've done that in my old journal and I really like how it looks. I didn't reach the second page with the number of books I was reading, but only having one page just feels like a recipe for running out of space. So what I've done is I've put a few more stickers on as like ornaments for the bookshelf, and hopefully I'll be able to spread them out a little bit more this year. I want to colour the book spines by month, not by rating. So all of the books I read in January will be one colour of spine, and then all the books I read in February will be a different coloured spine, and it'll be a nice visual way of seeing which books I read in each month. And originally I was going to do that with my reading goal page, but I think I want to keep that one as coloured by rating, and then this one can be coloured by month. So that little post-it note is just to remind me of that. Then on the next page we have my 5-star reads spread, which I have essentially just copied from my 2024 journal because I love how this looks, and I basically just changed the colour palette. I've got a few more to print out in my 2024 journal, and no, I didn't fill it up, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There's 19 spaces in my 2025 journal, and I rated 16 books 5 stars in 2024. So I think there's going to be enough space. Then we have my book of the year bracket. Again, this is incredibly similar to my 2024 one. I basically really liked how that looked, and I wanted to balance using the orange and the green. So I've got, yeah, the highlighters and the different coloured pens, and then these little green blobs next to the final books is because what I'm planning to do at the end of the year is I will use stickers or a pen to rank those books first, second and third. So that's just a space to do that in. And then, yeah, decorated with lots of stickers. Then on the next page, I've basically adapted a spread from my 2024 journal, because at the beginning of 2024, I was subscribed to both Illumicrate and Afterlight subscription boxes. And then I thought, actually, I've cancelled those subscription boxes, but I like this kind of layout for book club books. So what I'm going to do is use these pages to track which books I'm reading for each of the book clubs I'm in this year. So I have the wedding book club with my husband, which I'll be documenting on the left side, and then I have a book club with my sibling that we're calling the Dad's Book Club, which stands for Depressed Autistic Dudes. We just thought it would be funny, and it makes us giggle, and that's all we need. But I will be tracking those on the right hand side, and I'm not sure yet whether I'm just going to write the title or print a sticker of the cover. I think the stickers would look really, really nice. Then we have my new buys tracker. This is something that's new for this year, because what I did in my last journal is I had a space for, I had one page allocated for the books I was reading, and I almost immediately ran out of space because I bought way more books. I thought I was going to have a year where I just don't buy books, and then obviously I didn't do that, so I ended up having to stick in more pages to be able to track the books I was buying. And then I had a wish list page, which was my mental way of trying to combat buying books, but I immediately filled that up as well. So I've scrapped off the wish list. I don't think that was helpful. And what I've done is similar to my reading tracker. I've got these boxes, so I have to colour in every time I buy a book. And I think that's gonna incentivize me to not buy books, because I'm gonna have to admit it to myself by colouring in a square. But then I've also given space for me to write all the books I'm buying, and I have put another double page spread over the page, because if I do buy 57 books, that number isn't anything specific, it's just how many squares I could fit into the page. I can't write all of them on this page on the right, so I've got another double page spread, but I have notes to myself where I've written please stop shopping and book buying ban. So at least I'm self-aware, if nothing else. These are very simple, but I'm hoping not to use these spreads too much. But I know myself, and I know I will. Then on the next page we have my pre-order tracker. This again is very similar to my 2024 one. I really liked how it looked, especially with the kind of trying to make it look like a sheet of paper with the 2026 releases. I thought that was really fun, so I've recreated that this year, again designed with some stickers. So yeah, I've spread out the boxes for each month. Obviously I've already pre-ordered several books coming out in 2025, but yeah, this is where I keep track of them, and then I will highlight the book as it is delivered / as it comes out. Yeah, really pleased with this one actually. I think it's come together very nicely. Then we have another thing that I nicked from Rachel Catherine. She has a reading bucket list, and what she did was a similar kind of thing, just kind of boxes on a page with different categories that she drew in. Hers were more artistic. I am not a particularly artistic person, but I am very pleased with the crime mystery book box. And then what she did was she coloured it in throughout the year, and obviously the page gets more coloured in as you fill it in. But I think what I want to do is I want to print out, I think I'll use the audiobook covers because they are normally square, so it will fit quite nicely, and then use a bit of clear tape to make like a flap to cover up the prompt, but then obviously I'll still be able to see what the prompt is underneath. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to fill this in yet, but this is another one of those passive projects that I'm not really intending to like fully try to fill all these categories. I thought it would just be like a fun game. So there's that. I think that was fun. I really enjoyed making that spread. And then we have the last spread before we get into the monthly spreads, and that is the series tracker. I did not think this was going to take up as much space as it has, but I essentially went through my entire collection of books and wrote down every book that's part of a series. So there's some where I only have some of the series left to read, like Dreamland Billionaires and Legends and Lattes. I've read the first books in this series, so I've not listed those because I don't have to read them. But then some of these series, a lot of these series I've not started. The ones I've marked with a little star sticker are the ones that I've started, and then I have gone through and listed every single series I own, and it's taken 3.5 double-page spreads, because originally my plan was that I was going to write out my entire physical TBR after this, but considering it took me, I'm not joking, days to write out all of these series, I decided that actually I don't think adding my physical TBR would be necessary. I'm excited to be able to tick off some of these spreads, and then this is where we get to the bit that I haven't quite finished, because what I'm planning to do with this space here is make a list of all the ones that I've put stars next to and tick them off if I finish them. And then I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do on this page on the right yet, but I'll do something related to tracking series. And then after that I will do my January monthly spread, but I haven't done that yet either. And considering we're already 37 pages into this journal, I think I've done enough. So that is my 2025 book journal, and I am so pleased with it. I'm really, really proud of how it looks. I love the aesthetics of it, and I love how much fun I had making it. Designing these journals is a really therapeutic activity for me, and I really, really enjoyed it. So that is my 2025 reading journal. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're reading a great book, and I will see you next time for another bookish video. Bye!